educational satellite television programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on STDs. In our last lesson, we learned about amoebic dysentery. We learned about the causes, symptoms, and how to prevent that infection. In today's lesson, we will learn about 3 types of STDs: syphilis, gonorrhea, and chancroids. We have a lot to cover today, students, so let us begin. Students, do you know what an STD is? Write a sentence explaining what you know about STDs.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. Were you able to answer the question? Let us define what an STD is. A sexually transmitted diseases, or STDs, are infectious diseases that are spread through sexual contact. Previously, they were known as venereal diseases, or VD. Today, the term sexually transmitted infections, STIs, are used by some people to indicate that the microbes responsible for them do not always cause disease. STDs are a growing problem in Ethiopia. Engaging in sexual activity at a young age, multiple sexual partners, and difficulty in accessing health care are a few reasons why STDs pose a growing threat to the people in our country. One of the biggest concerns with STDs is that often they have no symptoms, or the symptoms start off very mild. This is not to say that STDs are all right to have. In fact, if untreated or undetected, STDs can cause great harm. Some examples of how STDs can affect your body are brain damage and infertility. There are antibiotics available that will treat most STDs, but the most sensible way to handle STDs is by prevention through safe sexual habits. In today's lesson, we will learn about a few common STDs. The first one we will focus on is gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is an infection that is caused by bacteria that are found in the mucous areas of the body, which are the vagina, penis, throat, and rectum. Anyone can contract gonorrhea, but it is most often found in people who are 15 to 30 years old. This is the most sexually active age range. Having unprotected sex, such as not using a condom and having many sexual partners, increases the chance of contracting the infection. The more people you are sexually active with, the more likely you are to engage in sex with someone who is infected. Gonorrhea is spread through sexual contact, but it can also be passed on from a mother to a child at birth. The early symptoms of gonorrhea are usually spotted in men before women. Men will experience a burning sensation when they urinate and notice a yellowish-white discharge from their penis. Women will experience similar symptoms to men, but usually in the later stages of the infection. Signs that a person has gonorrhea usually appear within a month, but sometimes there are no early symptoms. This means that gonorrhea often goes unnoticed and hence untreated. People unknowingly continue to spread the infection and, worse, can risk having the untreated infection develop into a more serious problem later on. There are antibiotics available that can treat gonorrhea, but the best way to prevent its spread is by practicing safe sex. Wearing a condom and being faithful to your sexual partner are ways to stay safe. If you think you may be infected, avoid sexual contact and visit a medical center. Also, it is important to let your sexual partners know that you have gonorrhea, so they can also be treated. Students, why do you think it is harmful if gonorrhea goes unnoticed in your body? Take a few minutes to answer this question.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. An infection like gonorrhea can live in your body for long periods of time. It can do serious damage to your tissue and organs, and the disease could be incurable. You may not see the signs of danger right away, but that does not mean that it is not happening to your body. It is important to get proper checkups and practice safe sex to avoid contracting any infections. Syphilis is another common STD caused by a bacterial infection. Like gonorrhea, it is spread by sexual contact with an infected person. Syphilis can also be passed on from an infected pregnant mother to the unborn child. Syphilis progresses in 3 stages. The first stage of this infection involves having swollen glands and painless sores around the area of initial contact, such as the penis or the entrance to the vagina. This stage lasts a few weeks, and if treatment is not received, the sores become infectious. In the second stage, the infected person often gets a rash and a number of other symptoms, such as fever, sore throat, hair loss, and fatigue. These symptoms last for about 6 weeks and will disappear, even if they are untreated. The symptoms may disappear over time, but that does not mean the infection is not active. In the third stage, there is illness in the skin, bones, heart, and central nervous system of the infected person. Severe damage is caused, and treatment will not get rid of the disease. Early stage syphilis can be treated in a similar way as gonorrhea. If you are infected, you can be prescribed antibiotics. But the best way to avoid its spread is by practicing safe sex. The last STD we are going to cover today is called chancroid. It is a bacterial infection that is passed on from having unprotected sex with another infected person. It is more common in men than in women. Although it is not as serious an infection as gonorrhea or syphilis, a chancroid increases an infected person's chance of contracting HIV and AIDS. Chancroids produce painful sores on the genitals. The sores are red and filled with pus. If untreated, the sores can infect the lymph glands in the groin and form ulcers. It is an easily cured disease that only requires an antibiotic. But if a person infected with chancroids has sex with an HIV-positive person, the person with chancroids is at a greater risk of becoming HIV positive. Because of the link between this disease and HIV/AIDS, prevention of chancroids is greatly important. As a review, students, can you list 4 ways to prevent the spread of STDs?
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. What examples did you come up with? Some ways to prevent the spread of STDs is by wearing a condom, staying faithful to one partner, not having sex with people who are infected with an STD, and avoiding sex if you are infected. This brings us to the end of our lesson, students. Today we learned about STDs, specifically gonorrhea, syphilis, and chancroid. We learned about how they are transmitted and what their symptoms are and what we can do to prevent the infections from spreading. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.